like pushed me and I fell to the ground, and then he like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back and he stood over me and he started like this, like he avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side.
When Gina Huynh did that interview with Tasha Kay, we thought we had heard it all. Turns out that was half the tea, and one character was missing. That character allegedly was Young Miami. Now, Young Miami's already been accused of doing a lot of nasty stuff to a lot of people, but none of them has been quite as close to home as Gina. Because we all know it was a lot of folks that was accusing Diddy of a until Cassie stepped forward, and boy did that flip the script. Could Gina be Young Miami's Cassie? If we're gonna ask that, we gotta know what Gina says she suffered and just how deep Young Miami was involved. And we gotta draw parallels too, cause these kind of things don't happen one time. Now for those of y'all in the back, Gina Huynh been crying out for years about what she went through with Diddy. Back in the day, she accused him of being violent, controlling, and downright cruel. She went on interviews with Tasha Kay claiming Diddy put hands on her, and while some folks didn't want to believe it back then, that same energy is circling back now with everything coming out.
And then after he got done doing that, he like, cause he was standing, his legs were like in between me, so he like stomped on my stomach like really hard, and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, and he kept, and I was like pleading to him like, can you stop? I can't breathe. And he like stopped for a little bit. He like grabbed my hair from the back and like was like punching the back of my head, cause he was just avoiding my face when he was like hitting me.
But here's the gag. Allegedly, Gina's now saying she wasn't just suffering at Diddy's hands. She's claiming Young Miami played a part too. Word is, Miami wasn't just a girl on Diddy's arm. According to Gina, Miami had influence. She allegedly used that influence to make sure Gina stayed quiet, stayed broken, and stayed scared. Gina hasn't shared every detail yet, but baby, the breadcrumbs she's dropping got everybody connecting dots. She said allegedly, there were moments where Miami acted like Diddy's enforcer. Y'all hear that? Like a boss in her own right. And if you've been paying attention, this ain't even the first time Miami's name been brought up in some shady situations with Diddy's other women. There's been rumors for a while that Young Miami had no problem being the top girl in Diddy's messy kingdom. Some women have hinted that Miami will go out of her way to intimidate them, whether that was over text, in person, or through Diddy himself. Like, I know y'all ain't forgot when she told Gina Huynh that if she wanted Gina to eat her out, that Diddy would have her on her knees. This was on Twitter though, and while it was a lot of fans that brushed it off as city girl pettiness, it's beginning to look like criminal intent, allegedly. Because there are dots, folks, and where there are dots, anyone can draw a pattern. In one of the recent lawsuits against Diddy, there was allegations thrown at Young Miami. Unlike Gina, this one's not been bold enough to reveal her identity, probably scared for her life, can't blame her. But she says in 2020 she met Diddy for the first time overseas and that he invited her to join him on an all-expense paid trip. From there, the women claim she felt pressure to see Diddy once a month between 2021 and 2022. Diddy's team would allegedly appear with a car with no warning to take her to his homes in Los Angeles, New York, Miami, and other locations. The victim claims at times they was on her neck, using coercive and language to allegedly pressure her to go to him. But none of that was as foul as the incident that allegedly went down at Diddy's Los Angeles home. It was here that the woman claimed she was forced to ingest ketamine and other before blacking out. While she was blacked out, Diddy allegedly went to business with her, and a few days later, she took a pregnancy test. When Jane Doe told Diddy she was pregnant, the lawsuit reads that Caresha Brown Lee Jane Doe by repeatedly calling her and telling Jane Doe to have an abortion. The woman ultimately ended up having a miscarriage. If you don't know, Caresha Brown Lee is Young Miami. There's your pattern. Now, we gotta be careful because this is an allegation. It ain't a statement of truth or fact until there's a case in court that proves Miami guilty. However, let's talk about the torture Gina allegedly faced. What does it even mean? And what do we know for a fact? Well, we know 1. Gina said she was isolated in silence. 2, we know she was allegedly afraid to speak out against both Diddy and Miami because she knew there'd be consequences. And 3, she's gone on record saying she was being mentally manipulated and pushed to the edge. We also just saw that tweet from hell that Young Miami sent at Gina that will probably bite her in the backside if this case ever becomes serious and sees time in trial. But does this prove anything though? Well, this is where some folks who've been defending Diddy's half of the city girl are asking if Young Miami was really the villain in all this or if she's just another pawn in Diddy's mess. We know Diddy has a long history of controlling his women and making sure they play their role. Is it possible that Miami fell into that same trap? Could she have been playing enforcer because Diddy demanded it? Or is Miami exactly who Gina's making her out to be? Someone who took her spot next to Diddy and ran wild with power. If y'all don't know the answer to these questions, then you should probably hear this. The lawsuit says Young Miami was getting $250K a month to participate in Diddy's crazy world, while Gina was getting $50K to shut up anytime he allegedly beat up. And y'all should probably already know this. We're gonna know the truth soon enough, because Diddy's empire is crumbling. The lawsuits, the FBI raids, all the dirt from the past 20 years is starting to spill out, and people are paying attention. If Gina's claims about Young Miami are true, best believe more women are going to start coming forward. This could be the start of a bigger story about who really did what behind the scenes and who's been protecting who. It's like this fan said, at the end of the day, Young Miami dealing with Diddy is going to be her downfall. And then it was this fan that had to say this about Miami's situation with Diddy. Accomplice. Those two are like the perfect storm. May have started out as for Diddy, but soon realized he had found a co-conspirator. Just something about the young lady that is off-putting. Right now, Young Miami ain't said a word about Gina's claims. She's staying quiet, probably hoping this all blows over, but the internet don't forget and the streets are talking. But what do y'all think? Is Miami just a victim of Diddy's chaos, or is she the top girl who made life hell for women like Gina? And do y'all believe Gina, or is she reaching for attention now that Diddy's name is back in the headlines? Tell me how y'all feel in the comments.